So at the start of the story, we find London living on a farm outside of Palmyra, Nebraska. It's about 45 miles south and west of Omaha. And it's the apocalypse. The fields have turned to dust. No one is alive. There's absolutely no electricity. There are no vehicles functioning. Well, before the coronal mass ejections, known as the Covington event, London's life was that of a normal rural teenager. She grew up on a farm outside of Omaha. And she went to high school. She was a ninth grader at Palmyra High School. She had a very normal life. She was fairly antisocial as a teenager. She was never into sports or clubs or anything, but she really wanted to be a doctor. Her mom was a doctor. The biggest event in London's life was not the Covington event or the collapse of society or the end of the world as we know it. It was the death of her mom. When she lost her mom, she basically became dead to the world. So Emily Dickinson is the name of the dog who got kidnapped. It's London's dog, her pet. She's a golden lab mix, and she's in a sense the one thing that London lived for, the one thing that she loved most in the world. So when she was kidnapped by pirates on September 11th, 2046, London, her world was turned upside down, and she didn't want to live in a world without Emily Dickinson. So when London sets out from the farm, she doesn't know what she's gonna face. She has no idea. There's been no communication, there's no TV, there's no radio. All there is CB chatter from Gary Johnson, her dad's best friend who lives a mile away in Palmyra. So she's thinking maybe algorithm emulator robots, which are the CPA sort of RoboCops enforcing the post-apocalyptic interstate, maybe diesel gangs which roam the highways, or even burning crown cultists, which are sort of a dying sort of breed of people. However, what she finds is much more sinister than any of those things. She finds a truly wicked and evil man who is organizing a post-apocalyptic community. Being a high school teacher, especially at a public high school in Omaha, where the vast majority of students do come from really tough backgrounds, that inspired me to write about characters who really do have it tough. People like my students who come from tough backgrounds, who have issues in their lives, will really relate to my characters because those are the kind of people that I write about. It's difficult to write a convincing character. The characters in Saving Emily Dickinson are very lifelike because they're based on people I know. No single character is one person, but it's based on people I know from teaching, from Palmyra, Nebraska, and from Omaha. My father grew up on a farm outside of Palmyra, and I grew up hanging out on the farm, and it was kind of a weird place, you know, country, old barns, climbing around up there, rusted old tractors everywhere. It was always a mysterious place for me, just growing up in the city. And I don't know how it really came to be important in my post-apocalyptic vision of Nebraska, but I thought it would be a really interesting point of view to start a novel from, and to have a protagonist who was from a rural area like that, who had to make a quest into an urban area and develop relationships with people from the city. Saving Emily Dickinson is a Western, and it's deeply influenced by spaghetti Westerns, which I was watching a lot of while I was writing Saving Emily Dickinson. Anyone who's a fan of Ready Player One, The Hunger Games, Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, Stephen King's The Stand, Cormac McCarthy's The Road, will love Saving Emily Dickinson.